With Starfleet Command on a verge of a major technological revolution, the organization would decide to use the Shangri-La Class as its testbed starship design, only to change their minds at the last minute. But what do we know about this amazing starship class? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Shangri-La Class, as first seen on a wall in Season 3 of Star Trek Picard, to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Captain Whitmire for providing me with this awesome 3D model. Also, the Shangri-La Class was, of course, the brainchild of the awesome starship designer Bill Krause. But as always, because this is just a beta canon video, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The overall success of the Constitution-class refit and her newly developed technology can never be overstated. Almost overnight, the entirety of Starfleet was made obsolete by this single starship design. And although the Constitution-class refit design had barely begun its shakedown cruise, Starfleet Command, who were hedging their bets, already had a plethora of starship designs under construction or in development utilizing all the new technology included in that class. The Miranda and Oberth classes followed in quick succession after the Enterprise's launch, with classes like the Parker and Constellation heading into their full development stage. What most people didn't know at the time, however, was that the Constitution-class USS Enterprise had not been the original choice as a testbed launch for all the new starship technological developments. The latter part of the 2260s had seen devastating losses for the Federation. Suddenly, the jewel of Starfleet's crown, the Constitution-class, was showing its age, with many starships of the class being reported missing or outright destroyed. Add to that the constant threat of war and aggressive posturing of the Klingon Empire, along with the re-emergence of the Romulan Star Empire onto the galactic stage, had the member worlds of the Federation running scared, wondering if Starfleet Command could really protect them if a major event were to occur. And so Starfleet in response kicked new technology development into overdrive, which itself would produce a cornucopia of results. Though new technologies such as the vertical warp core had been tested in other designs, the truth was that Starfleet Command had yet to put all this new technology together into one package, a starship designed to lead the Federation into the future. And so Starfleet's starship designers began the daunting task of creating the first starship design fully integrated with all the newly developed technologies, with a proposed launch date of early 2271. This new design would be heavily influenced by the Constitution-class design. After all, why wouldn't it be? Since originally the Constitution-class had always been viewed with such reverence and awe by the Federation's public. However, events of the day would all conspire to cause a last-minute change to development and construction of this new class. The loss of the USS Defiant during the Tholian Web incident, along with several Starship-class failures like the Atlas class, would further erode the public's faith in Starfleet and its abilities. But one starship, the USS Enterprise under the command of Captain James T. Kirk, still held the admiration and respect of Federation citizens everywhere. And so when the USS Enterprise was the first Constitution-class starship to return to Earth after Starfleet's latest round of 5-year exploratory missions, Starfleet Command decided to capitalize on that ship's popularity, declaring that rather than receiving a decommissioning after 25 years of intrepid service, instead she would be completely refit and upgraded, becoming the flagship of an entirely new Federation fleet. And with the Enterprise's success, Starfleet Command's new fleet construction program would go into overdrive, with construction recommencing on Starfleet's original choice as the new testbed technology vehicle. And in 2273, the Shangri-La Class would be born. Sitting at a length of 295 meters, the Shangri-La Class would be designed to be operated by 432 officers and crew members. The traditional saucer-shaped primary hull design would be modified for this design, ending up more fan-like in shape, while its secondary hull would also be modified from the smooth cylindrical design that the Constitution-class refit sported to a much thicker and angular design. The Shangri-La Class's neck would also be thickened, in response to criticisms made back when the original Constitution class was launched, with some saying that the neck of that starship class was definitely a weak point in the design. Even the Shangri-La Class's pylons would be slightly thicker than her Constitution class counterpart. Though again heavily influenced by the Constitution class itself, the Shangri-La Class would contain a slightly more warp-friendly profile, which would give this class a slight edge over her sister class in the faster-than-light category. As a result, the Shangri-La Class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 7.5, with an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 12.6 for 14-hour increments, all old warp scale of course. To increase the Shangri-La Class's maneuverability, her impulse engine system would receive a complete overhaul, increasing the size of the impulse vents to over double those of the Constitution class refit. Tactically, the Shangri-La class would be armed to the teeth, containing both dual phaser emitter banks as well as torpedo launching systems both forward and aft. Shielding for the Shangri-La class would be on par with that of her Constitution class refit older sister, but her deflector dish would be recessed into the secondary hull to provide it with extra protection during combat. A single shuttle bay would be located in the aft section of the secondary hull, just beyond the ship's cargo deck area, though unlike the Constitution class refit design, the Shangri-La class would include a shuttle deck outside the shuttle bay. Initial testing on the Shangri-La class would reveal several minor bugs in the technological aspects of the ship, but these would be quickly ironed out, and by 2274, the Shangri-La class would go into full production. Initially, the class's mission orders would be that of patrol duties along the Klingon and Romulan neutral zone, showing the flag as it were. But by the end of the century, most ships of the Shangri-La class had been reassigned to patrol duties along the Tholian, Zenkethi, and Gorn borders. The Shangri-La class would continue in operation into the 24th century, with remaining vessels of the class eventually being repurposed as cargo vessels, until the class was fully decommissioned in 2340. But this decommissioning would not exactly spell the end of this class's design, as when Starfleet Command began once again to redefine its fleet thanks to the Borg Reclamation Project's technological developments, the overall design would be revamped and finally claim the class title she had been denied back in the early 2270s, becoming the Neo-Constitution or Constitution 3 class, with the added bonus of Starfleet's newest flagship, the Enterprise G, becoming a vessel of this starship class. Created during the technological revolution of the 2270s, the Shangri-La class would never receive as much attention as her Constitution class refit big sister, but would nevertheless become a recognized staple of the fleet, earning this class its valiant place in Starfleet history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Shangri-La class and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel cram all these new technologies into its videos? Then consider becoming a channel member subscriber or channel patron. both a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to both memberships is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and prosper.